Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
You know, it is the peak of naivete and ignorance to suggest an alternative plan without suggesting an alternative plan. It's like the Moneyball theory. If he's a good hitter, why didn't he hit good? You ever see the movie Moneyball? Like, yeah, he's a good hitter. And he's, well, if he's a good hitter, why didn't he hit good? Why doesn't he? Kind of a simple question. I say that regarding the still ongoing fallout over Friday's disastrous Oval Office meeting and how this is just rippled through international geopolitics. You have a bunch of other people asking a very simple question, especially on the MAGA side and around the world. A lot of populists around the world are saying, okay, well, what's your plan to rescue Ukraine? I saw this question asked last night in an interview, and who was it? It was with, was it Chip Roy and Caitlin Collins? Like, what's your plan? I don't understand. You keep talking about this, this tragic war going on in Ukraine, but you've yet to present a viable alternative where Ukraine comes out I'm using air quotes here because there are no winners, but the winner in this. Aren't you obligated if you say this, in other words, okay, the Trump plan sucks, I don't like it. Say that's your theory, Tommy Boy style, right? If you know what I mean. The Trump plan sucks. Okay, that's easy to have an opinion. What's your alternative? You notice crickets, everybody's quiet? It's really troubling because your inability to express what your plan is, A to Z, your inability to do that means continued bloodshed and body bags. Folks, there's an expression called realpolitik. I encourage you to look it up. You got to deal with the world as it is, not the world as you'd like it to be. We're not writing Robert Frost poems here. People are dying over there. I got a lot to talk about. This story has really shaken up the entire world. I mean that in the actual essence of what I said. Folks, it's been over 10 years now since we were informed that the government is spying on us, and this day nothing's been done about it. It's a battle that American citizens are losing to our very own government. Big Brother's watching you. You know the phrase, scary, right? Well, what if I told you there's a way to get your freedom back? Thankfully, there is. It's a product called ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is an app. Reroutes 100% of my internet activity through encrypted channels. It means no one, governments, data brokers, not even internet service providers can see what I do online. Everything I do online stays private. ExpressVPN is the #1 rated VPN by experts at CNET and The Verge. It's easy to use. It takes one click. You can use it on any device. It works on up to 8 devices at the same time. So if you want to protect yourself from corporate and government spying, go to expressvpn.com/Bongino and get 4 extra months of privacy for free. That's EXPRESS, expressvpn.com/Bongino to get yourself an extra 4 months free. All right, fellas, let's go. So I'm going to say this again. And in my listening audience as well, I know there are a diversity of opinions on this. I have a big MAGA audience here. A lot of people in this audience are obviously going to agree with the Donald Trump approach, which is if we're going to help you, we need something for you to help us too, so we can sell to the American people that we are going to stay involved in another overseas war that is not in our homeland. I'm not saying we don't have an interest in it at all. It's not what I'm suggesting, but it's not here. I hope it's never here, but it's not here. We are consistently asked to step up for other countries, and the United States has done that. But the United States citizen financing all this, many of whom serve in our military, have come home missing fingers, limbs, if they've come home at all. Some of them are in body bags or shallow graves overseas in wars they've died in, have a simple question. What's the plan to win this? Folks, the only alternative I've heard expressed here from this continued pro-Ukraine funding, we need to do everything we can for Ukraine to win the war. The only thing I've heard suggested is basically a war of attrition, that we will fund them until the Russians get tired. Folks, I'm not really sure that's a battle plan. You're assuming at this point that Vladimir Putin doesn't have so much invested in this Ukraine war that he can just casually pull out. That's not a plan. I think J.D. Vance said, Vice President Vance said, hope isn't a plan. So yesterday, President Trump upped the ante on this and said, listen, President Zelensky, if you're not going to come to the table and do a mutually agreed upon deal where we win, you have the military support you need to continue this battle. If you're not going to do it, then we're out. And as I said to you before, the biggest mistake you can make, did I not say this to you, folks in the chat? Did I not say this a couple of weeks ago? Throw right in the garbage and flush down the bowl this whole thing. Take Trump seriously, but not literally. No, take him literally and seriously. You're seeing that now with terrorists, which we'll get to. You're also seeing it with Ukraine funding. President Trump was crystal clear. Either make a deal with us on this minerals deal and let's engage in some kind of substantive peace process, or make no mistake, we're out. That's what he said. If you made the mistake of not taking him literally, I encourage you to read this article in The Guardian of all places. U.S. suspends all military aid to Ukraine in wake of Trump-Zelensky row. Again, I've told you repeatedly, that is a serious underestimation of negotiator spreadsheets Donald Trump. Yeah, that's a great one. We only have one plan: to win and survive. Okay, I appreciate your resilience and the brave people over there who put up an amazing fight and continue to do so. But you have to have a plan right now. You keep saying we have only one plan to win. Well, what does that plan look like? Because that's not what's happening right now. This is the biggest tactical error I've seen made over and over, repeatedly, with Donald Trump's opponents, is this idea that he's just not serious when he says these things. No, he's as serious as a heart attack. He's not kidding. Here's a piece of video here. Zelensky says, hey, the war's going to go on. That's your choice. That's your choice. But I think Donald Trump's been crystal clear about the level of United States support for the next 4 years, and that's a long time. I encourage you to take him seriously and literally. Check this out.
President Zelensky supposedly made a statement today in AP. I'm not a big fan of AP, so maybe it was an incorrect statement, but he said he thinks the war's going to go on for a long time. And he better not be right about that. That's all I'm saying.
You know, I'm going to hit this point again and again and again. Folks, I'm proud of our consistency in our argument here. I'm proud of that. It means the show is bedrocked in principles. Listen, I've changed my mind on some things over the years, on industrial policy and trade. I've changed my mind, not fully, but on the margins a bit. I've moved in a different direction. Some people have convinced me to change my mind on things. But what's strange is about the anti-Trump ideological left, how they flip the script and completely dump in a 180 everything they claim they stood for. You have to remember, starting in that Vietnam era, it was largely that generation. You know, you had the hippies and others who were all we are saying is give peace a chance. I mean, there were songs, there were entertainment, there were protests on college campuses. Well, Donald Trump is trying to give, to quote the song, is trying to give peace a chance. I'm a little confused I'm not. I understand exactly what you're doing. You just don't like Donald Trump. So anything he says, you have this reflexive, whatever he says, take the opposite approach. However, do you understand that this is you're not generating public support you need to build political capital by now being on the side of an endless war where I'll say again, like I said in the beginning of the show, you have yet to provide an exit ramp. You keep saying we have to ensure the Ukrainians win. How? Let me give you an analogy. Justin, permission for analogies? Thank you. I got to be honest, I stole that from The Five. There's a long story about that with The Five. So a couple analogies went really bad on The Five. So Jesse would always say, permission to use, if you hear it now, you'll know what I mean. That's the inside baseball. It's kind of funny. Imagine being a coach for a sports team. My favorite team, say the Auburn Tigers. And you're the baseball coach or whatever. He's a great guy. I love him. And they ask you, hey, what's your strategy? We're going to win. How, coach? We're just going to figure it out. That's not a plan. The sports media would be like, hey, coach, you got anything else? You're going to build out the middle relief? You're going to close out your problems at third base or center field or whatever it may be? I mean, that's not a plan. Right. Justin said it right. No, what we're going to do is we're just going to play more baseball better than the other. That's not a plan, bro. It's not a plan. Here's the catch, though. Baseball, you lose a baseball game. Hey, Herp, it's no big deal. Folks, we're talking about a nuclear-powered enemy. It doesn't mean their presence of nuclear weapons mean they should dominate. We have them, too. And we can do bad things to Russia as well. A lot of bad things. Cyber war and elsewhere. I'm simply suggesting that you are obligated, if you say Trump's plan sucks, to present some of your own. Here's what he was talking about, by the way. AP, Ukraine, Zelensky says end of war with Russia is very, very far away. Oh, okay. I mean, that's the best you have? Your economy's being hollowed out? You don't have anything else? Again, here's Donald Trump, President Trump again. He wants to see it end. He just doesn't want to see people dying anymore. I get it. All right, but he has a plan. He's presented a plan. No, he hasn't. Yes, he has. He has said, we will develop economic rare earth mineral resources in areas of Ukraine. This will be likely an implied, if not direct, security guarantee because of our economic interests. And you came in Friday and blew it up. What's your alternative? Again, I thought the left was the party of peace. Am I crazy? Did those songs not happen? Did we not all engage in sing-alongs in the 60s and 70s if you were of that age? Smoking the peace pipe on college campuses? What happened? You got a guy who wants peace, now you hate him? Here, check this out.
With all of that being said, I want one thing to happen. I want all of those young people to stop being killed. They're being killed by the thousands every single week. Last week, 2,700 were killed. 2,700 young, in this case, just about all young boys from Ukraine and from Russia. And that's not young people from the United States, but it's on a human basis. I want to see it stop. The money is one thing, but the death. And they're losing thousands of soldiers a week. And that's not including the people that get killed every time a town goes down or a missile goes into a town. And I want to see it stop.
Here's the problem, too. Here's the problem with the people who reflexively jump down Trump's throat and have no consideration whatsoever for what he's saying. He really cares about this, by the way. I'm not name dropping. Who cares who people know and don't? It sounds stupid and you sound ridiculous. I'm just saying I have a different relationship with President Trump than a lot of people in the media who've never even met the guy and just automatically think he, have all these nasty words to say about him. If you don't think this has deeply impacted him, the carnage over in Ukraine, he keeps mentioning this, how a generation of young Ukrainians are going to be wiped out. And I'll tell you right now what's on his mind. I'll share something I know is one of these things, like a brain worm, he can't get it out of his. Is he understands fully that hundreds of thousands of young Ukrainians will be wiped out. And in the end, listen, please listen. This is really important. Wait, stop. Everybody pause. You ready? Listen to me. You want to get in Donald Trump's head and what's animating him. These young men and women will be killed. Dead. They will never take another breath of oxygen. They will never see their kids grow up. They will never invent the world's next supercomputer or cancer drug or anything. And you know what concerns Donald Trump even more than that? It'll all happen. And later on, after 10 years more of war, not a single thing will have changed from today. I want you to think about what I just told you. You think Donald Trump is a shallow guy, he hasn't thought this through. He's just some guy that magically won the presidency multiple times and transformed an entire political party. You think he's just crazy? I want you to listen to what I just told you. And you ask him in the media, write this down. I'm giving you a little hint. That is what motivates this man. He is deathly afraid that an entire generation of young, healthy fathers, sons, brothers, soccer coaches, police officers serving in their military are going to be dead, wiped out, and in 10 years, not a single damn thing will change. I'm just asking you if you hate this man, President Trump. I'm just asking you. You're allowed to hate him. It's a constitutional republic. And you're allowed to say what you want. His plan sucks. But out of a sense of morality and decency, I'm asking you as a human being, what the hell is your plan? A full-scale Ukrainian invasion into Russia? What if they're all wiped out and Ukraine loses its entire eastern territory? What was this for? Folks, the United States, the most powerful military on earth, the most powerful military in the history of this rock we call Earth. There are times we have realized that sometimes the better part of valor is to say at this point, this thing may be winnable, but at what cost? Nobody wins every single baseball game, basketball game, debating match, and no country on earth is going to win every single skirmish they get involved in militarily. There are times both Democrat and Republican presidents have realized it is time to cut losses at this point because, yes, we can win it, but this is what it's going to take, and will it result in anything different than we are now? The examples, there are a lot of them. I wish there weren't, but they are. Stop pretending that it's somehow cowardice or anything else. That's not what this is. It is realpolitik and a realistic view of the world we live in, not the world you want to live in, because that's the utopia fallacy. That doesn't exist. I mean, you have to understand if you are a foreign negotiator, the EU, they love photo ops. They had the big class picture we put on the show yesterday. President Zelensky went right over to the EU. They all got together, took this great photo op. Fantastic. I get it. You have to message things. Public relations are a big deal. I fully understand that. However, public relations not backed up by action are simply, there it is right there, thank you, are just public relations. They're not going to change a damn thing. Germany, UK, France, you want to continue this war with Zelensky? What is the AP here? A very long time? Go right ahead. There we go. The end of the war is very, very far away. Go right ahead. Nobody's stopping you. The EU is a very powerful collective economy. There's a lot of money there. President Trump has given you a realistic exit ramp. Here he is talking about how Zelensky needs to be more appreciative to resume negotiations. Notice how he has not taken the minerals deal off the table, despite Zelensky's catastrophic diplomatic miscalculation on Friday in the Oval Office. President Trump, who's supposed to be the crazy man, according to his opponents, still has not taken the deal off the table. So how crazy is he? Or is everyone else crazy? Check this out.
What do you need to see from President Zelensky to restart these negotiations?
Well, I just think he should be more appreciative because this country has stuck with them through thick and thin. We've given them much more than Europe, and Europe should have given more than us because, as you know, that's right there. That's the border. This country really was like the fence on the border. It was very important to Europe, and I'm not knocking Europe. I'm saying that they were a lot smarter than Joe Biden because Joe Biden didn't have a clue. He just gave money hand over fist, and they should have been able to equalize with us. In other words, if we gave $1, they should have given. Well, we gave $350 billion. They probably gave $100, but on top of it all, they get their money back because they're doing it in the form of a loan, and it's a secured loan. So when I saw that, which I've known about for a little while, I said it's time for us to be smart.
Looking at the chat, Sneaky Gemini says, Trump's the only adult in the room. Sneaky, you are correct. It certainly appears to be the case. I'm going to take a quick break, but just remember what I told you. If 10 years from now, we're doing the Dan Bongino show, sitting here staring at a camera in here or the new studio, wherever we're doing it, and we're having this exact conversation, hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians have been wiped out, and Russia has more territory, I'm going to say, Justin, can you pull up that show from 10 years ago? I thought we were the bloodthirsty warmongers on the right? That's what you've talked about for years. No blood for oil and all that. I mean, I remember being a Secret Service agent, seeing all these code pinks on, no blood for oil. We're giving you an opportunity for no more blood. And you want more. I never seen anything like this. And by the way, the public is just not on your side on this. I'm going to play another CNN poll. You mean the one from yesterday? No, I mean a different one. They're just not on your side on this. They want this thing to end. Quick break. We'll get back to the show. All right. Hold on a sec. Hey, I'm just, guys. I know I don't do a lot of foreign policy on the show. I understand that. I got to speak up. I just haven't dealt with the horror my grandmother dealt with. God rest her soul. Eileen Sadler. She really, man, she lived a tough life. She lost 2 husbands early. She lost my uncle, her son in Vietnam when he was supposed to come home. Folks, when that changed her, man, forever. I told you my uncle's name many times, Greg Ambrose. And when he was killed in Vietnam and shot in the back, my grandmother was never, ever, ever the same. Ever. This is real. People are dying. These Ukrainian men are children of God like anyone else. They may swear allegiance to a different country, but they are human beings. What is your plan, man? You owe it to these people. This isn't a game of Stratego, whatever that game is. This is real. There are going to be hundreds of thousands of Eileen Sadlers out there who are never going to be the same because their kids and grandkids are going to have died. You better give us a damn plan because Trump has one. You do not. All right. I'm going to take a break for a second here. So I hope you understand. And I hope you guys don't mind me covering this story 2 days in a row. It is of grave importance that we highlight this in the most. All right, you get the point. Hey, one of my first sponsors when we started this journey is a company I really believe in, My Patriot Supply. There are a lot of people in the industry who support anyone who throws them money. We don't do that here. We never did. We believe in preparedness, and that doesn't change because the president's in the White House now. I believe the world is unstable. Evil still exists, and we need to be ready for whatever might be coming next. At some point, I think another crisis could hit, blackouts, shortages, pandemics, God knows what else. That's why I've asked My Patriot Supply to bring back the emergency preparedness bundle one last time so you're ready to handle anything. This bundle has just about everything you need. 3 months of emergency food storage, water filtration, heirloom seeds, multivitamins, potassium iodide, anti-radiation tablets, and best of all, you can save $300 on this exclusive bundle, but only while it lasts. So go to mypatriotsupply.com/Bongino. That's mypatriotsupply.com/Bongino. Don't wait. Be ready before the next crisis hits. Thank you, My Patriot Supply. We appreciate it. Check that out. Get prepared, folks. And our last, second sponsor. I've had a Helix mattress for several years now. Sorry, let me start over. That last segment kind of got to me. You can imagine why. I've had my Helix mattress for several years now, and I've definitely noticed the sleep differences. You know I had a problem sleeping. Helix Sleep's an award-winning mattress brand. That's the essential reason why I wake up feeling refreshed and ready to tackle a new day. No more tossing and turning. If you're dealing with snoring, sleep apnea, back pain, or even if you sleep too hot, Helix has a mattress option for you. So go to helixsleep.com/Dan and get started. You know, a good night's sleep is one of the best ways to have a better quality of life. Helix mattress can help figure out which mattress will work best for you. I have a pretty hectic schedule, and after a long day of work, I always look forward to sleeping on my Helix mattress. So many of my listeners are sleeping on Helix, Helix, makes a big difference in their lives as well. Right now, get Helix's best offer yet, exclusive for my listeners, 20% off site-wide. That's right. Visit helixsleep.com/Dan to get 20% off site-wide. Helix Sleep, H-E-L-A-X, helixsleep.com/Dan. Thank you, Helix. We appreciate it. So again, the public is not on your side. When I say you, I should be specific because precision matters, okay? If you are the anti-Trump reflexive, Trump's Ukraine plan sucks. What's your plan? Ukraine needs to win. What does winning look like? Hell if I know. That's not a plan. It's a suggestion. It's the four-way stop sign. A lot of people don't stop at the four-way stop sign because they think the other guy will do it. That's what this is. It's a suggestion. You're like, oh, I don't need to produce a plan. Someone else will. There are smart minds in D.C. I guess not, because these smart minds have yet to produce an actual freaking plan. Here's Harry Anton from CNN talking about how Trump is doing way better than President Biden, former President Biden, on the Ukraine issue. The public's not with you either. This is one of those situations where you are picking, again, the wrong hill to die on. Check this out.
I think the easiest way we can kind of just ask this is, do Americans like the way that Trump's handling his job and compare it to how they felt about Joe Biden? So this is the net approval rating. You look at Joe Biden back in 2024, he was 22 points underwater. Holy cow. You look at Donald Trump, it's just a different planet entirely. I mean, the gulf between these two is wider than the Gulf of America or Mexico, depending on which side of the aisle you stand on. He's at +2. So look, at this particular point, Americans are giving Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt. He's doing considerably better than Joe Biden was doing on the handling of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. And so on this simple question, I think Americans are saying, okay, Donald Trump's doing all right on this.
Got a big announcement. There we go. Fine, I'm going to retweet it right here. Live on the air. Good. I'm going to watch that. Yeah. Silver like me. Did you see it? Some of you may have paused it. Can you do that? Yeah. You saw that? It was like that one time. Remember we had the thing and Trump called and we almost showed his phone number on the air. I never did. That was my first week. I know that was Michael's first week. That was crazy. I'm going to finish this segment and I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about now. You want to know who's going to be taking over my show? I'm really happy about this. We got Haley in studio. Haley's rocking the Border Patrol hat. I like that. She's coming in. She's representing right away. She's like law and order at the border. By the way, did you watch your segment yesterday on Rumble? What is it, rumble.com/Haley? It was great. I loved it. She came right out of the chute. She's just like, I told you, Zeus throwing lightning bolts. Just like that. Just dropping lightning bolts. Like Marino throwing pellets to Mark Duper for you Miami Dolphins fans. All right, here, wait. Last segment on this. This is a serious topic. This is Jake Tapper and my Congressman Brian Mast. And why is this segment important to me outside of just the content? Because Congressman Brian Mast, who's my congressman in Martin County, Florida, Congressman Brian Mast, I've mentioned his name before because there's something very distinct about Congressman Mast. And it's that he's missing limbs, notably his two legs. Why do you think that is? That's because Congressman Mast decided he was going to volunteer for military service, decided to become a bomb tech, obviously one of the most hazardous professions of any profession anywhere in the known cosmos. Well, Congressman Mast was trying to disarm an explosive. It went off, and he lost fingers. There he is right there. And you'll see he has prosthetic legs. So Congressman Mast has bona fides on this issue to discuss what President Zelensky refers to as the nice oceans protecting us. He's kind of crossed those, and he's left pieces of himself over there. So when Congressman Mast speaks, he speaks with instant skin in the game, actual skin in the game. Here he is with Jake Tapper talking about how the EU, which has skin in the game as well, they're right there. They're kind of de facto funding both sides of this war by constantly buying gas from Russia, which is fattening up their coffers, which is in turn funding Russia's war effort. So how serious are you guys? Let us know, because we're the ones trying to cut that off. Take a look.
It's so ironic. They're still reliant on Russian oil and gas, moving it throughout Europe or moving it to other places and bringing it back into Europe. So they're essentially putting as much money into supporting Russia and not putting as much money into actually defending Ukraine and then begging us to be the backstop for security. That comes to an end.
Yeah, I actually saw a study from a European group that showed that Europeans were actually buying more Russian oil and gas than they were helping Ukraine in terms of the aid. So in some ways, the Europeans are funding both sides in this war.
You know, Justin brought up a great point, too. I tell you, man, this guy is a very precocious leaving college young man. This guy, when I was 20, you know, at the time, I was working on my career and all that stuff, but I was heavily focused in law enforcement and all these other things. Justin is knee deep into politics. He's like, Dan, he's like, didn't Germany and others just decommission a lot of their nuclear power plants and therefore they have to rely more for baseload power on natural gas from Russia? Yeah, exactly. Climate's right. The climate change people, they're like, the climate change people are supposed to be the peaceniks. They're like, continue the war. Continue, fund Russia. Decommission the nuclear power. Can you guys just get a message? Can you just figure out what side you're on? I don't understand. I mean, can we just make this like kind of simple? Oh, man. Haley, can you show him your Border Patrol hat? Come here. You want to see Haley's rocking the Border Patrol hat today. Check it out. You like that? There we go. There we see. She's all about secure the border, build the wall. There she is, rocking the Border Patrol hat. Rumble.com/Haley. She's gonna crush it. I already told you guys. We have one thing we do well here. We have a great judge of talent. I just watch our Outkick videos. I'm like, damn, we got to go hire her. I said, Paula, watch this. She said, you're absolutely right. I got another big announcement coming up. Why are we firing announcements left and right? Rock'em sock'em robot style? Because, folks, I have agreed to take this other position as of March 17th. I'm winding down my operation, but I'm not winding down an operation. We are going to leave you with content. I'm going to tell you who is going to be covering on my show. You probably already saw it on X, but that's all right. I'll tell you anyway, because it's going to be a lot of fun. Spots, get those things, baby. There we go. The April 15th tax deadline's coming fast. You have unfiled tax returns, can't pay the IRS. The IRS is more aggressive than ever, and the longer you wait, the worse it gets. Wage garnishment, bank levies, even property seizures are on the table. You need to get ahead of it, but going up against the IRS alone is a mistake. Call the experts at Tax Network USA. They know the system. They have an edge, a preferred direct line to the IRS. They know which agents to deal with and which to avoid. Whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million, their strategies are designed to quickly settle your tax problems in your favor. Tax Network USA's attorneys and negotiators have already resolved over $1 billion in tax debt. Tax Network USA can help you too, but you need to move fast. April 15th is almost here. Talk with one of their strategists today with no obligation. Don't look over your shoulder. Put your tax problems behind you. Call Tax Network USA at 1-800-958-1000. That's 1-800-958-1000. Or visit their website, tnusa.com/Dan. That's tnusa.com/Dan. And our last sponsor is Bone Charge. You know I'm a big, huge monster fan of life hacks because why? The golden rule, don't get dead. And the longer I can stay alive, the better. So the two products we love the most are the infrared sauna blanket and the red light face mask. Ever since they sent them to us, can't recommend them enough. Sauna blanket has been great for muscle recovery. You know, I have really bad arthritis. It's important to me. It's a game changer for me. It's really easy to use. Just wrap yourself up. Let the infrared heat just work its magic. I've noticed a real substantive difference in how relaxed and rejuvenated I feel afterwards. I sleep better too. Red light face mask is equally impressive. It's Paula's favorite. Helps with her skin texture, reduces inflammation. She's seen amazing results. It's like a mini spa treatment right in your home. So if you're thinking of trying them out, you're in luck. Head on over to bonecharge.com/Bongino. Use the code Bongino at checkout to get 15% off. Both of these products have made such an incredible impact on our wellness routine. I'm sure you'll love them too. Use code Bongino at BONCHARGE.com, bonecharge.com/Bongino, and save 15%. These statements of products have not been evaluated by the FDA. They're not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition. So here's a big announcement. As you all know, you've probably heard it now 1,000 times maybe more over the last few weeks. I will be leaving. My last show will be next week, March 14th. I will be taking over the deputy director position at the FBI. We brought on Haley. You met her yesterday. You're going to be seeing a lot more of her in the coming days. We have Evita's show at rumble.com/Evita. And taking over my show for the podcast He's going to have a significant role in radio too. He's going to be my good friend from WMAL. It's my friend Vince Colonnese. He is fantastic. I promise you, I only bring you the best people. You are going to love him. A very, very, very smart guy, very intellectual show. I love Vince. He's been a good friend to me. You've heard him fill in on the radio show. I've gotten all your positive feedback. There is a method to my madness. I had always intended on bringing on Vince as a talent regardless before I even knew about this spot. Now that Paul is going to be running the business, we thought, well, let's just move a little quicker than we were in the past. So there you go. Vince Colonnese, give him a follow. Here's how you spell the last name, with us Italians. It's Coglianese, okay? It's pronounced Colonnese, but Coglianese. And the show is going to be called, I got to say, by the way, this is my idea. I hope Vince was cool with it. The show is going to be called Vince. Why? What better way to brand it? Vince. Vince. It's kind of like Prince without the symbol. Remember? Where'd I get that one? It's his first name. Just such a, you didn't know. Haley, feel free to incorporate the guys in your show, by the way. They kind of just chime in anyway, so they just do their own thing. There's no rules on the show. Even if there were, they disregard them anyway. If we had like treehouse rules. I know, that's a huge mistake. Folks, the new studio, we have mics and like cameras for the production guys. So now you're going to get to see these guys doing their whole drill during the show. You all down with that? So folks in the chat, just I'm asking the Bongino Army, go follow Vince, represent. I told you I'd leave you with good stuff, so I promise you. All right, let's get back to some more of this stuff. So this happened yesterday too. I told you, listen to your friend Dan. Do not buy into the take Trump seriously, but not literally. You damn well better take him literally sometimes. And does anybody in the chat hate the word literally more than me? No, I hate the word. Yeah, it's true. I know. That is a good point. However, the guy, President Trump, is not kidding when he's talking about the tariff thing. Tariffs take effect today. Here he was yesterday. He was announcing a $100 billion chip investment. I'll tell you why this is important in relationship to the tariff story. These stories are related. I'll show you why and what the economic logic is. I promise I'm not going to make this boring for you. I know people that dismal science, economics. This will make sense. Play that cut.
Today, Taiwan Semiconductor is announcing that they will be investing at least $100 billion in new capital in the United States over the next short period of time to build state-of-the-art semiconductor manufacturing facilities. I think mostly it's going to be in Arizona, which is what I understand, which is a great state. I like it because I won it, but I won most of them, actually. But we won it, and we won it big. The most powerful AI chips in the world will be made right here in America, and it'll be a big percentage of the chips made by his company, but as you know, they're based mostly in Taiwan.
I thought this guy was crazy. If he's crazy, why are all these people investing? It's right. If he's not, so just to be clear, Haley and I are both Long Island kind of Queens kids, right? Say you've got this guy in your neighborhood. We had this kid growing up. I won't use his real name, but let's call him Tony. This kid was legit crazy, right? He was. Like, if you walked near his house, you crossed the street because you were afraid he'd come out the door. I'm not kidding. I lived on 64th Place. Everybody who lived in that neighborhood knew to stay away from this guy. No one's going to go in there and ask him to start a business. Like, hey, you want to start a corner deli with me? Because he's crazy, right? He was a dangerous kid, right? So if Donald Trump is so crazy, why is this like the fourth or fifth multi-billion-dollar, $100 billion plus deal where people are moving money back into the United States? I'm just asking questions. I told Haley to incorporate a few pregnant pauses just like that. You see. Why? Why are they bringing money here if he's crazy? Now, to show you how extra non-crazy he actually is, Anybody out there know how GDP is calculated? I'm not going to bore you with stupid math equations right now, but I will tell you this, okay? It's C plus G plus I plus X minus M. What does that mean? When you calculate GDP, it's government spending, consumption, investment, exports minus imports, and you get a GDP number, okay? Now, why is that a big deal? Because investment, the I in the matter, and the exports minus imports, exports happen when you, sorry, but some people are, don't like Trump, don't really understand this. Exports mean what? Exports mean you export stuff, meaning it originates in the United States and you send it out of the United States. Exports are a positive for GDP. So for all those people who think Donald Trump is crazy and don't understand basic economics, GDP numbers, and how economies grow, Donald Trump gets a twofer here. He gets investment in the United States and he gets additional exports. Now, again, if you don't understand that, what he's doing, you won't understand what his tariff approach is either. Tariffs or taxes, I agree. I'm not going to tell you otherwise. Tariffs or taxes. However, he has used the tariff as a negotiating tool to get people to move more of their operations back into the United States. Now, here's the genius of the whole thing, if it works. Now, if it turns into an escalating tariff battle, you're right, that could turn into a problem. However, Donald Trump, I trust this guy's negotiating skills. The president knows what he's doing here. He's done this before. If he can get more money into the United States and in the GDP formula, get more exports and more investment, right? And then he brings these companies into the United States to build new factories, more investment. Here's the kicker. He also gets another bang for the buck if the Republicans in the House and Senate can pass the tax cuts again. Because if we can get 100% or accelerated depreciation, that means that when you build these factories, you can also write it off your taxes, which means millions more available to pay your employees and to put into said factory. I love people who think this guy is nuts and just don't understand what trust me, he has a plan. You may not like it. No plan is perfect. It may work out. It may not, but we're going to find out. But I promise you, just like in Ukraine, he has a plan. What's your plan? Here he is talking about V6, guys, the 25% Canada and Mexico tariffs. Folks, we have not had fully open free trade with Mexico and Canada for a long time. It is time to use these tariffs as a tool. Check this out.
But very importantly, tomorrow tariffs 25% on Canada and 25% on Mexico, and that'll start. So they're going to have a tariff. So what they have to do is build their car plants, frankly, and other things in the United States, in which case they have no tariffs. In other words, you build, and this is exactly what Mr. Wei is doing, by building here. Otherwise, they'll build, if they did them in Taiwan to send them here, they'll have 25% or 30% or 50% or whatever the number may be someday. It'll go only up. But by doing it here, he has no tariffs.
Knock this guy all you'd like. It's a constitutional republic. I actually believe in the First Amendment, unlike some others out there who don't seem to like me very much. I'm just telling you, he has a plan. The way you get economic growth is by investment in the United States. He's going to get a double bang for the buck with exports. He's also planning on a depreciation schedule which matches up with said investment. So when companies are building here, they get a write-off for building here, which will incentivize more building here, which will give companies more money to invest in their product and employees. What's your plan, brother? I don't understand. What's your plan? Your plan is what? To continue talking about economic growth? It's like we said before. What's your plan to win the baseball game? Justin said it right. All right, we're just going to play more baseball. That's not a plan, man. It's not a plan. It's not a plan. That's you writing some Emily Dickinson poetry or whatever. I'm not interested. I'm a spreadsheets guy too. Show me the numbers. Let's go full Jerry Maguire. Even though it was a liberal movie. Watch that little speech at the end and you'll get it. You know what I'm talking about? Some of you know. Show me the money. Remember? Cuba Gooding Jr.? What was his name? Rod Tidwell? Show me, say it, Jerry. Show me the money. Donald Trump is saying, show me the money. Show me where you are going to put money in American citizens' wallets. If you can't, you don't have a seat at the table. Sorry. Folks, the momentum is completely, totally shifting right now. Wasn't that the title of today's show? You see how I did that? I did that actually by accident. I didn't even mean that. I let these guys write the titles, kind of like, they're good at it. They've been putting together a lot of the show. The momentum's totally shifting. But I can't tell you to produce receipts and spreadsheets and not flowery language and not produce them myself. Here's Scott Pressler, who's done so much work in organizing and getting people registered as Republicans. Folks, if Pennsylvania were to flip red consistently, the Electoral College pathway for the Democrats to win the presidency is as dead as an iron nail. They have zero chance. Right now, here's how it looks in the national picture. Keep that up on the screen for a minute. So let me just read you a number. So Pressler put out Republicans are 181,984 voters away from flipping Pennsylvania. In 2012, that number was 1,100,000+. In 2008, that number was 1,200,000+. Now they're less than 200,000 voters away from flipping Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania reminds me of what happened in Florida, where when I moved down here, Democrats actually had a voting advantage. Obama won Florida. And now Florida's become a blood red state. But here's the thing. You're seeing the same trajectory in Ohio. You're seeing now Nevada start to color itself red a little bit. And Pennsylvania is moving. Folks, there is no pathway for them to win if Pennsylvania flips fully into the Republican column. I can make the case to you that that's why you're seeing Senator Fetterman in Pennsylvania. Is it a genuine change where on some issues he started to move a little more right? I don't know. I can't get in his head. Again, I don't really care about is it genuine or not. I care about the spreadsheets. All I care about is on how they vote. I don't get too involved with the emotions of it. But you're seeing this all start to change. Now, here is the tweet I found the most compelling on this. And I'm going to tell you why. Actually, I'm going to throw this out. I'm going to ask you a question. Let's see who in the chat can get it. Some of you may have seen it because it was trending on Twitter kind of all day. And people made the connection. Charlie Kirk, good friend to us in the show. Charlie Kirk put this out. He says Trump's approval rating, President Trump's approval rating by age. So 65 plus, 65 years old plus, Trump's approval rating is 45%. 40 years old to 64, 46%. So 1 percentage point higher. Here is the shocking statistic. Considering the prior trajectory of the Republican Party, 18 to 39, younger Americans, obviously. Donald Trump's approval rating is 15 points higher than an older American, 60%. I want you to listen to what I'm telling you here. Donald Trump's approval rating amongst the young demographic between 18 and 39 is 15 points higher than his approval rating among 65 plus Americans. Come on, Justin, say, come on now. Fellas, ladies, for those who've been following politics for a long time, like when Haley used to book me at Hannity back in the day, like 10 years ago. So it was like, hey, what's up, man? Remember she used to show me my little Q score thingy, whatever ratings on the chart. She'd be like, look, you were on last night. You did so good. I'm like, that must have been Geraldo. When I was doing hits back then, the Republican Party could not, older Americans, that was basically our base of support. We never had younger voters. They were all about hopey changey. They loved Obama. They didn't love what he did, but they loved it. Yeah, everything's great. The whole thing is flipped. Now, my question to the audience. Someone tweeted this out. Did you see it? What do those numbers correspond with when it comes to this? Let me see if someone in the chat gets it. What do those correspond with when it comes to media consumption amongst those three groups, older, middle-aged, and younger Americans? Let's see if anybody gets it. Let me see. I'm just looking through. The chat goes so fast here because you guys are so many people here. Excellent. Who said that? Excellent show. Tanamir, we love you. Thank you. Yeah. Yes. Look at what I have. John DeSalvo says social media, redhead advice, new media. Yes. Oh, VGO 1998 cable. Yes. This is what happens when you get a genius audience. I'm not kidding. It's not like me throwing faux compliments. Yeah, there's not a question I can ask you guys. If I asked you guys to figure out the Pythagorean theorem on a number in like half a second, someone's got it in there and a thing. You guys know what you're talking about. You see how the older demo that's still watching, oh, look at this. Check this out. They even got some charts up here from Nielsen. The older demo that is still watching traditional cable news, the MSNBCs, the CNNs, and others, Trump's approval rating is fine, 45%. It's not terrible. But then you start getting into a younger audience that has a la carte media consumption, 18 to 39. A la carte meaning they can go anywhere and pick off the menu. Oh, look, I'm going to get a Haley video from TikTok. She's been viral like 10 times already. You know that dance party with Beyonce? That was her. She started that whole thing because she just felt like lighting up TikTok. Young people are like, you know what? It's kind of cool to be MAGA now. Like we're the anti-establishment question authority party. You don't find it weird that younger people who aren't really watching cable news and broadcast news anymore, that these younger people are the ones who support President Trump? You guys are so smart in the chat. The longer you're married to legacy media, the longer you're going to believe a lot of these nonsense narratives about President Trump. When you can go to X and Truth and YouTube and Rumble and TikTok and other places and pick and choose your own media and filter through what in the past a wall between you and the truth, you notice people start becoming more MAGA and more Republican. It's not an accident. All right. Let's throw that Wall Street Journal article up. I know, that's exactly. That's a great point. That's why they want to censor all these. You know what? Now, let's put the Wall Street, let's save that one for tomorrow. I want to put this Wall Street Journal piece up. Folks, this Wall Street Journal is obviously not a huge fan of President Trump, okay? I think we get that, especially Gerard Baker. But I enjoy their pieces and I read them all the time. That's not it. That's a Chutkin said a new. What's that? That's Jack Smith. I think you got a different one. Yeah, but look at the graphic you have up. It says District Judge Tanya Chutkin. Jerry Baker has a piece up just when we need them. The media's credibility hits the bottom. It's a great piece. I encourage you to read it. And he talks about here how journalism has become more of a religion rather than a fact-based, fact-searching enterprise anymore. How it's an act of faith. It's not really an act based in spreadsheets and reality anymore. And that's the problem. Folks, thanks again for tuning in. I'm really excited about the future of Silverlock Media as Paula takes over the enterprise and I transition into a different stage of my life. Got Haley here. We're going to have Haley on the show. Now, here's the schedule for the new studio because I need to show this to you. Tomorrow, after this show here, tomorrow will be my last show, so definitely tune in, Bongino Army. My last show from here, not my last show, okay? From here. We are going to retire the Dan Bongino Show 50-foot, square-foot studio. No kitchen, refrigerator, nothing for these poor guys tomorrow. But it'll hurt because I do love this place, and we did a lot here. Tomorrow will be the last show from here. So Bongino Army, P1s, let's make it special. I am then going to go over to the new studio, and we are going to show you the new studio Wednesday night. But all the shows will air at the regular time. Don't worry. I'm going to record some stuff so you guys can get a good look around the new studio. So the Thursday show at 11 a.m., your regular time, you're going to get to see the new studio. You've already got a peek at it with Haley and Evita. You have yet to see the Dan Bongino set, which my lovely wife put a lot of work into. Haley, you've seen it? Do you like? It's so cool. So cool. And Haley knows, because I'm not cool. Haley's cool. I'm not cool. My wife says I am, but I know I'm not. You can't try. It just is. I will see you on the radio show in a little bit here on Rumble in about 6 minutes or so. And then I will see you back here tomorrow, our last day in the old school Dan Bongino studio. 11 a.m. Eastern Time, rumble.com/Bongino. See you guys there. See you tomorrow.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show.